My wife and I, Camilla, we spent most of last week on the ground with the families in Uvalde, Texas. We shared stories, tears, and memories. Maite wore green high top Converse with a heart she had hand drawn on the right toe because they represented her love of nature. These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting. How about that? We need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks. But people in power have failed to act. So we're asking you, and I'm asking you, will you please ask yourselves, can both sides rise above? Can both sides see beyond the political problem at hand and admit that we have a life preservation problem on our hands? So we got a chance right now to reach for and to grasp a higher ground above our political affiliations.
Active shooter in town. Beto making his rounds in the Rio Grande Valley. Recession is coming. Are you ready? And hey, FFA, the RGV Spanish-speaking community, we do deserve equal access to the SpaceX approval process. It is Wednesday, June the 8th, 7:03 a.m. My name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. I hate to disappoint, and I try my best. I always try my best to make sure that I always keep our favorite segment alive and well. But I come to you, unfortunately, with the sad news to say that for the next week or so, it's going to be hot. Here in South Texas, we have become accustomed to only enjoying 1, possibly 2 months of cold, breezy weather. And for the most part, it seems as if it is dry and hot in our area. It is gonna be the same as of right now. It is 79 degrees. Throughout the day, it's gonna be in the mid to high 90s. The 10-day weather forecast does look fairly the same. We should not be expecting any showers until next Wednesday. So brace yourselves, stay indoors, stay hydrated, make sure y'all go to the beach if possible. I'm always trying to promote our island. It's always good to get some sun rays every now and then. Now, with us in the second week of elections for special elections, we had I would say a normal visitor now in the Rio Grande Valley. Governor Beto O'Rourke, the candidate for the governorship, has been making his rounds. Yesterday, he was in the Rio Grande Valley. He was in McAllen. He was in Rio Grande City yesterday. And he has been promoting the Democratic candidates in these upcoming elections. Currently, right now, we find ourselves in a special election for the 34th congressional district race. 34 district race between 4 candidates as of right now. We anticipate that this will go into a runoff between Dan Sanchez and Mayra Flores. But nonetheless, we see Beto mania in full effect. And here in the Rio Grande Valley, Beto has always managed to get a great audience. They are very receptive to his message. Yesterday, he has been promoting the Democratic candidates such as Rochelle Garza, who will be or is the Democratic candidate for Attorney General. She is going up against Ken Paxton in the November elections. And as well, he has been promoting the local Democrats. And we see how Beto mania has taken not only the state of Texas, but the Rio Grande Valley by storm. Now, we remember the elections in this previous elections. Many have stated that with the straight ticket voting and ballots, that is what catapulted many Democrats into their positions because of Betomania. The state of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, was excited to have the likes of Beto go up against Ted Cruz, and ultimately he was, a presidential candidate at one time. But we saw the effects of Betomania and how he had on the RGV. Would he have this same effect? Many have argued and stated that McAllen has been slowly turning red. We have the first Republican mayor in X amount of years. And we have seen the Rio Grande Valley and also the District 15 Senate race, which Vicente Gonzalez jumped from, was originally an incumbent in that district. How that has been projected to turn red. So we will see how the dynamics of politics, of politicking. Beto O'Rourke was at the public library yesterday afternoon. He did speak before an audience, encouraged them to make sure to go out and vote, to support their candidates, of course. But the question remains, is Texas ready for Beto? Are we still Beto crazed as his previous election? As we all know, the only thing everybody could talk about was Beto, 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 Beto. Will he be taking that same momentum into his governor race coming up? Will that also help our local races with Beto endorsing his candidates? Now, it's the end of the world as we know it. Doesn't it feel as if life has been getting a lot more expensive? Back then, our dollar used to go places, it seems, when, back in the day with $5, man, we were golden. Now with $5, we could probably get some soft drinks and some Doritos if we're lucky. But it seems as if life has been getting a lot more expensive. Parents, I'm sure you can vouch for me. Whenever your teenager starts asking for clothes, for electronics, for cars, for trips, you start seeing those dollar signs light up in your head. And now it seems as if $20 is our new dollar. And again, I'm not going to talk about this because I know we all feel the pinch and we all complain every day once we pass by them. But we are feeling the effects of life being more expensive at the pumps. Many economists anticipate that we will be seeing here in the Rio Grande Valley, we'll be seeing close to $5. It will be $5 borderline. Some estimates as high as $5.15 here in the Rio Grande Valley. And as we all know, the summertime is a time where families travel. They use this time to get out of town for a while. And usually, whenever they travel in large groups, they tend to travel by land. It does get expensive for airfares. But now will families be traveling because of the raise in gas prices? And as well, the interesting to note is that it is not only us, it is not only here in the Rio Grande Valley, in the state of Texas, in the United States, who is feeling the pinch, so to speak. The World Bank did release its report yesterday, and they projected that the world is going towards a recession. Now, during election time, of course, many individuals try and use political ploys and say, aha, Biden sucks because inflation. Biden sucks because immigration. Biden sucks because of Afghanistan, how we left Afghanistan and we give them back to, they always use something, of course. Now, inflation is something that the world is experiencing at this time. And the World Bank is an organization that does take many things into account whenever they do make these projections. A lot of it goes to GDP, and also a great thing to monitor is the global growth that they predict each year, which right now it is only at 2.9%. And in previous years, they have projected 2022 or earlier to be in the high 5.5s, closer to 6%. And you may say, hey, 4% doesn't really make a lot, but on a global scale, it really does. And as we all know and watch the news every day, we see what is going on throughout the world. And I'm going to go a bit further. China is one of the biggest productions in consumer goods throughout the world. Their exports are dominating, and they're generating a lot of revenue. But when you look at it, China, for a long period of time, they shut down many regions of the country because of COVID outbreaks. Now, you could argue and say, hey, this was done deliberately. We all know the way China operates. They always make it to a point where they benefit. That's a different argument. But major factories in China were shut down. Their production wasn't going out as much. We see how the likes of gas prices and many people argue and said, hey, the reason why we're going through this is because of the Russian-Ukrainian/US war. And for many of us that have been following this war, it has been longer than anticipated. Many experts did state that this would be a 2, possibly 4-5 week war with the artillery and manpower that the Russians had and their capabilities and their preparation, it would be an easy conquer of the sovereign nation of Ukraine. We have seen how the United States has been pumping billions and billions of dollars as of late. They provided artillery, they provided manpower in regards to strategic strategies. Other allied forces as well has sent money, guns, and also troops to assist with this war. But nonetheless, the world is going to a recession. We have also been hearing not only from economists, but we also see it in corporate America. Elon Musk recently announced that he will be cutting 10% of jobs from Tesla. And the reason why he stated in an email to the executives was because of the world's of the prediction of the economy throughout the world. And we have been hearing and monitoring how right now Elon Musk has been going to China, Brazil. He's trying to tap into the Indian market, which is a very lucrative and large market. And then, especially whenever you introduce something new, such as a Tesla, an electronic car, it's gonna blow up. But if Elon Musk, the world's richest man, is sitting down and calculating and saying, you know what, the projections aren't right. The projections do not look in our favor. And again, he does take a lot of things into account: production, resources. Are they available? As we all know, the chip electronics are not being pumped out as much. Target recently, for all my lady friends that enjoy going to Target is going to have a discount throughout their stores throughout the nation. Why? Because they have so much inventory, and they feel as if the consumer is not going to be buying what we used to buy regarding TVs, other consumer goods, what many consider luxuries. Hey, that was a necessity to us. We need a big screen. We need a PlayStation. Well, not anymore. Why? Because we see all these economists, we see all corporate America, that trouble is rising. Trouble is on the hill, so to speak. We are on a freight train, and we're going to collide with recession at the rate that we're going. So it is impressive to note, how all these corporate Americas are changing the way they think based on projections. And again, a lot could change, and mainly a lot has to do with the war going on, because all the attention has been focused on that. So once again, I encourage all my friends, all my lady friends, to go to Target. They do have a large inventory, and they do anticipate that they are going to cut a lot of prices because they do have a large inventory, and based on projections, they feel as if they will not meet their numbers. So they're trying to get rid and cut their losses as fast as possible because they know that a recession is coming. And what happens with a recession? Well, we don't pay our bills. We don't pay our mortgages. And obviously, we don't go out for luxury. We don't go out to the movies. We don't go out to the grocery stores to buy luxury. We do buy our essentials, of course, but many of Target's products has been targeted around entertainment and around luxury. And at the end of the day, who profits from crisis? As we all know, the rich individuals, those in power. It is often joked that during the pandemic, the only ones that made a buck was people in the healthcare. And again, we applaud and thank them for being there. They were our true heroes. But Pfizer and all these other pharmaceutical companies, they did bank handsomely. Bill Gates, and I'm not even going to go into that conspiracy. But are we in a crisis? Are we in a time where we should be worried about it? Well, we should, based on projections. But again, what can be done at the national level? They're trying their best to create jobs. 300,000 jobs created in the Midwest. 250 jobs created with this new plant that we built. It is going to be hard for the United States to get out of this recession, especially when it seems as if our money is tied up on other things, especially in the war that is going on. And again, a war is very, very expensive, especially whenever it's not our own. So the projections based moving forward, it does not look good. My advice to you would be to buy silver and gold if you haven't already. Now, have we gotten immune to this phrase, breaking news? I got the news first. And the reason why I say this is because CNN has been criticized for being a network that tries to produce breaking news when it's actually, how my friends say, old as crud. We have been desensitized to the words now, breaking news. Why? Because we've already heard it before. Facebook is a great way for us to be informed of what is going on within our surrounding areas. And just a few days ago, we had our own breaking news, so to speak. In the city of Harlingen, our neighboring city, we did see how there was a call made to the local authorities that the Cameron County Sheriff's Department, one of its satellite offices or the annex building, there was an active shooter with hostages in it. And this picture that I do have on the screen, if you could see between the two signs, they do have the woman with her hands raised, and I believe that's a law enforcement officer escorting individuals off the premises while they do a sweep of the building. But nonetheless, we did get our scare. And with the recent tragic events of Uvalde, it has been very, very scary to see how many children have not taken this tragic event seriously, and they did, make threats and things like that. But my question to my community is, should we refrain from disclosing something like this in the sense of breaking news, but then the tragic events that happened as of late, hey, we need to be aware of everything that is going on. What's to say if the outside world, if the parents weren't aware of what was going on in that in that mass shooting? Information is power. We need to be very careful, of course, of how we present it. But it is scary to note that there was this call that was made, and they did state that there was an active shooter and there was hostages. This was found not to be credible, not to be true. But we are starting to see how maybe it's violence per se, but we are desensitized whenever we say breaking news. So CNN will be going away from that moving forward. But it is scary to note how these kids, they are starting to treat this as a game, and we're thankful that this turned out to be not credible. But they are trying to locate these individuals who did make this call, and this has obviously gotten the attention of many school districts. Harlingen ISD is now actively engaging in regular active shooting training. And now, the way the world is turning and has been as of late, I would anticipate for BISD and all the private schools in our area to take proper training with adequate time. That way we can hopefully avoid something like this happening in one of our schools. But most importantly, for our individuals to be trained for the proper protocol. And again, it's hard to follow protocol whenever you are in the situations. But with more training, more information, we hope that they can make the right decisions if they're ever, we hope not, if they're ever found to be in these situations. Now, Starbase Texas. SpaceX has been a topic of discussion. On one side, we do have how many business owners have been relocating and have been bringing a lot of attention to the city of Brownsville. SpaceX, ever since the MOU was signed in 2014, has been a topic of discussion. Why? Because many individuals have been worried about Elon Musk's true intent and the ramifications and effects that launching rockets with high-powered engines would cause on our local habitat and our local environment. The FFA did delay their report on SpaceX, whether they would be given approval or not. Many individuals have argued that not everyone has been part of the process. Emma Guevara did recently post that the Spanish-speaking community here in the Valley has not been given a seat at the table. She has alleged that this is a form of racism. How is it that our indigenous people, those individuals that reside here, have an equal stake and opportunity at being vocal? They do not have the rights, or they have not been given the opportunity to make their case, to say how they feel. And as of right now, many this isn't going to be the end of this. Of course, we anticipate this to be a long, drawn out process with many lawyers involved as well. Why? Because whether the FFA does grant SpaceX the thumbs up to start launching rockets, we anticipate an appeal. We do anticipate a lawsuit that is going to be filed trying to prevent this from happening. Environmentalists have been very vocal. Many residents from Port Isabel have questioned the motive, and two, what would happen if something catastrophic would happen? Who would be on the hook, and how would that have lasting effects in our area? But it goes to say, what about our beach? And look, we all have an argument in this. Some say, hey, nobody cared about Boca Chica Beach before Elon Musk came. And once he came, they're like, oh, it's my beach. It's, others do have a stake. We know individuals that own property in that area, and they are affected on a daily basis sometimes whenever the county shuts down their area, their entry and exits from their estates, and this affects their daily lives. But the question remains: do we feel as if we should all have a seat at the table? Of course, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're Mexican, Asian, Filipino. We do have a large Filipino community in our area, and most of them do speak English. Maybe some in the minority don't. Same thing with our Spanish-speaking population. But here we do have a larger population that don't really speak Spanish. But for the most part, are we given a seat at the table? Are we given a fair shot? And according to this article, we have not. It is alleged that the FFA is, for whatever reason, not being available to these individuals. And I couldn't find the process of how the FFA was going. They did have these town hall meetings. Sometimes it was um, done at weird hours, and a lot of people have argued and stated that it wasn't done with adequate time. It didn't make mass marketing where a large amount of individuals would be able to see the flyer and then want to go and attend. But nonetheless, um, the decision is coming next week, and our Spanish speaking community, they haven't been given their voice, a fair share, to be able to voice their opinions. And no matter where you lie uh, on either side of the argument, whether you're for SpaceX or against SpaceX, it is important to know how the majority of our community feels. Our Spanish-speaking community may enjoy Boca Chica Beach compared to South Padre Island. Why? Because they're fishermen, and South Padre Island is expensive, and that has been maybe a tradition of theirs. I have many friends that prefer Boca Chica Beach, less traffic. Well, now there's more traffic, but before there was less traffic. You could come in and out. But nonetheless, many feel as if this beach has been hostage, that they're going up against the Texas Constitution, which prevents the closures, which prevents an outside entity from taking control of that area. But many people have stated, hey, it's overrated. What's going to happen once something blows up, once something goes wrong? And again, if you haven't seen the documentary on Netflix, I encourage you to do so. It's great to see how the United States now, with the help of SpaceX, is trying to get into space. But again, at what cost? Are we here? We saw how NASA closed down their launching sites in Florida. Why? Because they just we're spending too much money. What's going to happen whenever SpaceX is done with us? Are they going to close up shop? And again, SpaceX anticipates that this is going to be done for the next 100 years of commercial flights to space, and the possibility of it, possibly going more frequently than other times. Again, they're trying to minimize cost, of course. But how do we feel? Have we been given a fair share? Do you feel as if our voices have been heard, our concerns? Many individuals in South Padre Island and PI, they did get I remember that. No, I wasn't born, but I remember watching that. But many individuals have complained and said, hey, we've been getting individuals from SpaceX come and ask us about our windstorm insurance, what kind of insurance we had, if we had for loud bangs and things like that. And they got real skeptical and said, well, why are you asking me? Because many anticipate once these rockets actually go into space, that their radius, that there is going to be a 3-mile radius that is going to feel the impacts of those engines, some to a larger extent, of course. But nonetheless, the argument remains, how is this going to affect our community moving forward? And again, is this going to lead us into space? Is Brownsville, Texas really going to be the launch site to Mars? Or are we just another pawn for a rich man who all he wants to do is launch his rockets and poke fun on Twitter? What a life, huh? And that, my friends, is, again, active shooter. CNN will no longer be making the statement of breaking news, because according to many insiders, their news isn't breaking as much. Beto in town. He was in the Rio Grande Valley yesterday. He was endorsing his candidates. Will this upcoming election feel the same Beto mania as we did the previous one, which catapulted many Democrat candidates to victory? Or is the Rio Grande Valley now turning red little by little and not having the effects of being a predominantly blue nation. Also, recession. Recession is coming. We see it through the gas prices. We see how now $20 is the new dollar. Life as we know it is expensive. Brace yourselves. It is coming. And hey, FFA, the Spanish-speaking community, deserves equal access to SpaceX approval process. We have stated how we want all individuals to have an equal share at the pie. We want our voices to be heard. Now, is this a launching site for the better of humanity, where this will one day be Brownsville to Mars? Or, Maria, will this be another case of Brownsville being pawns of a trillionaire, potentially will be the first trillionaire, but the world's richest man, playing with his rockets, tweeting on Twitter, and then leaving our area and leaving us to dry? That is the answer that we need to ask ourselves. It is Wednesday, June 8th, 7:32 a.m. My name is Frankie Olivo. This is Good Morning Brownsville. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. He was at McAllen in the afternoon, and he was in Brownsville, in the city of Brownsville, at the public library yesterday around lunch. I want to say after 1 p.m. He was there, and he was in McAllen at night. Thank you all for your time and your attention. Hope to see y'all here on Friday. God bless.